welcome to my channel, or back to my channel. We have another spooky story telling, and what I'm reading for you guys today is called Confessions of a Time-Traveling Serial Killer. Looks like this is by Dustin Cooley. Alright, so Confessions of a Time-Traveling Serial Killer. Spooky. I woke up to a knock at the door. As the knock persisted, I uncovered myself. Looking at the phone, I saw an email from the publishing company. Another rejection. Sitting up, I hobbled myself to the door to see a box on the ground. It was covered in tape, and on the address I glanced at my name, David. Picking it up, I thought, why would the FedEx guy knock on the door if he is just going to leave the package on the ground? Throwing the box on the couch, I returned to bed to finish my sleep. After laying for another hour, I finally got up on my own volition. After getting dressed, I walked to the box to see the full name, David Samuel Robertson, the writer. I opened the box, my curiosity getting the better of me. It was a book manuscript, not very long. Looking at it, I also found a watch. The clock and calendar glowed. The book was only about 7 chapters, and the title was interesting, Confessions of a Time-Traveling Serial Killer. And because of that title, I read the book. The author, David S. Robertson, had been my favorite writer since I was a kid, and I would read his novels over the summer to win the summer reading program. I even got into writing myself because I wanted to be just like him. So I began to write stories that never worked out. Wait a minute. Holding the manuscript close, I saw my name, David John Keller. This must be some joke, right? Why? How am I the main character in a David Robertson murder mystery novel? This is no joke. David, you are the main character of my murder story. I spun to see David. Eyes wide, I stood from the chair. Who are you? The man chuckled. You might know me as the author of this book. The man, the writer you've always wanted to become. David Samuel Robertson. My eyes scanned the man before me. He was much younger than the author I had idolized. In fact, he looked slightly... No, that's impossible. Chuckling to myself. What is this, time travel? The writer beamed. You've read my work. You know my mystery style is a little unorthodox. You tell your murder mysteries from the perspective of the killers who commit the crimes, David said. And this is how you do it. Send the manuscript before killing your victims? Oh no, David. I'm allowing my story hero to have the script to his first bestseller. Once you and I have our own little adventure, you will publish a novel under your name, and of course. Gritting my teeth, I punched the table beside him. I'm not playing your sick game. You will, because it is my game to play. The players choose their pieces, as writers choose their characters. You cannot resist, David. The dice have been rolled, and the bell cannot be unrung. The path is mine to walk, so take it and run. The writer leaped on me out of nowhere, clasping his hands around his throat, locking his hands as David laughed maniacally. Fighting back, I punched the man's face as I struggled to breathe. Everything was blurry, and my vision went dark. Then there was a light, a not-so-light slap on my cheek. David reluctantly opened his eyes to see a beautiful blonde woman crouched over him, Samantha. His hair cascaded down as she gazed at him. What happened? Groaning as I sat up, scanning the room and seeing the 2 police officers and Robert talking to them. The police think it's a break-in. Eyes widening. The manuscript! I ran to the table and the manuscript was missing. What is it, David? Samantha asked. The manuscript is missing, I said, looking through papers before switching to the counter and being stopped by one of the cops. So are you looking for this? The officer held up the manuscript. Grabbing the manuscript, I yanked the paper out of the cop's hand. Thank you, sir. Robert pushed his hand on my shoulder. Sam found you on the ground, and she called the cops. I came over when I heard the sirens next door. I had to get through this. I needed to stop David. I need to stop those murders. I fell. Nobody broke in, officer. I grit my teeth. Crap. Son, nobody mentioned a break-in. Right. Well, I'm fine. My voice cracked momentarily. The officer grunted and left my home. After Robert let the officers out, thanking them for their time, he turned. All right, what the heck is going on, Dave? Nothing is going on, I said, dodging the question. Robert persisted. Nuh-uh. Something happened, and you're going to do something. Now you're going to tell me what's going on. With a heavy sigh, I told them the truth. This morning I got this manuscript in the mail, and I saw our names in this book like we were characters in the story, and you'll never know, and you'll never guess who wrote it. Samantha stepped forward. Who? David Sam Robertson. Robert blinked and ran to his apartment next door, running back with the newspaper. Look! The front of the page of the newspaper said that David S. Robertson had just committed suicide this morning. This is getting freaky. Samantha took the manuscript from me. Confessions of a Time-Traveling Serial Killer. What kind of title is that? He kind of said he's a time-traveling serial killer, biting my tongue as I realized how that sounds. Robert smacked Samantha's arm. I freaking knew it. Then a watch started blinking and then beeping. Samantha looked back. Is that supposed to be doing that? Robert and I looked over as there was an explosion, and we were suddenly in 18th century England, in an alleyway as Robert fell on a dead prostitute. Robert gauged as he quickly jumped off of her. Samantha looked around as I still had the script in my hand. Guys, this is chapter 1, A Framed Ripper. That explains the prostitute, Robert said as he shivered. There was a shadow down the way. I ran after the man, and it was David Keller. I see you accepted my invitation. I'm not accepting crap. Your stupid watch glitched and I'm stuck here. Tell me how I can get home. Angry, I yelled at the man who I once idolized and is now my demise. David chuckled. You thought you could run from the plot, but instead you shall be the protagonist of this novel. I shall write. You already wrote the thing. I have it right here, I said, holding up the manuscript. Don't spoil the ending. I haven't written it yet, the writer said. If I beat him at his game now, I can stop all this from happening. You can't stop the events from transpiring, David, and do you know why? Why? You never wondered why I sent the manuscript to you? Scoffing, I replied. I just figured you're a psychopath and you picked out a victim at random. Maybe you wanted to torment one of your fans for no reason. The writer leaned forward as if sharing an amazing secret. David, I picked you for a purpose, for a reason, because the hero must become the villain. I stepped back, now uncomfortable. What are you saying? I, young David, am you in the future, and you are me in the past. His grin was now full ear to ear as the truth set in. No, there's no way. I would never. The writer pins the character, but the clay does not form the potter, the writer said before disappearing into the night. Wow. That was crazy, right? That was very weird. Okay. This next one is called The Gingerbread Cookies by Erin Chen. The gingerbread cookies. Let's go downstairs and bake some cookies like Mother used to make. The warm smell sits right at home in your nostrils, invading them like wild axe murderers, hacking and slashing their way through endless miles of human bodies that stand in the way of their inhumane carnal desires. Shh. But that's too dark. It's Christmas after all. So let's go downstairs and bake some cookies like Mother used to make. One step, then two. Ooh, isn't this great? You've never baked gingerbread cookies before. Oh no, because you always thought that you would never be able to make them all so good, like Mother used to. What did they say she made them with? Some kind of special ingredient. What was it? Was it sugar and spice and everything nice? Was it love? That special ingredient that every mother makes cookies. That special ingredient that every mother cooks with because you are their extra special little kid. It's true. I cook with love. Oh my, this is exciting. Your heart hammers against the rib cage as you set to the oven too. Oh, you don't know what to set the oven to. You've never made these before. Probably 300 degrees will be good. You bend down, spin the dial, but what's that? What the heck? There's already a baking tray in there. You take it out, confused. On it, there's a set of perfectly cut gingerbread men. They wear little tuxedos with white buttons, their smiles exposed in this rows of sharpened white teeth, and their wide green eyes watch you intently with their white pupils. In the center of one of them stares right at you, holding a folded up note in its tiny dough hand. You snatch it from him, not caring about the little man's feelings. To my little boy. My oh my, I can't believe how the years have passed. It seems like just yesterday that whatever secret deity girl governs this universe sent me to the untimely punishment beneath the earth's soil. I know, I was always so poetic, right? Now enjoy these cookies. I hope they taste just like how Mommy used to make. What? Love, Mother. Ding! Apparently 10 minutes pass while you read that short letter. But to be fair, you don't read it once, do you now? You read it time after time until the words start doing tangos in your head as they spin spiderwebs around one another. Now, after it dings, you're supposed to put the cookies back in and start the baking, Mother said. How hot do you bake them? You asked. Hot. Very hot, Mother said. But don't they not like being so hot? Oh, these little guys won't mind it at all, Mother said. She slid the tiny men into 300-degree chamber. She smiled. There is really nothing to it. Nothing to it. Well, there's nothing to it, you think as you slide the baking tray in. And as the minutes tick by, their faces change. No more of the artificial smiles plastered on by a woman who would ruthlessly murder them. Now they are the faces of men who know their deaths are coming. Smiles that slowly flatten in the corners as 3 minutes turn to 4. 5 minutes turns to 6. Until the red frosting of their mouths fall clean off. And they can't shout for help. Just as you couldn't call the ambulance when you're there, Mother started clutching her heart and breathing heavily minutes after she slid the baking tray filled with small people in the oven for the final time, yelling for you to get to the phone, to get up, to do something and not just sit there as people cooked in their torture chamber. And then they come alive. One of them pokes its head up, its blank eyes staring into your heart. It's lifeless, dull, unknowing of the infernal fire around it. Like you on that fateful night, not knowing that Mother will soon be gone for good. It looks at you, and then it stands on its 2 stubby legs, stumbling as it gets up. It walks to the edge of the baking tray, carefully navigating around its still dead, unconscious friends as they lie down, their backs against the aluminum sun-hot surface. It looks its friends in the eyes, and maybe it thinks, I'm sorry that I'm here and you're not, and then steps over the edge, falling down in the oven's fiery, incomprehensible bottom. Clunk. Mother, you asked your body shaking all over. Why was she on the ground? Why were her eyes closed? She may have been asleep for all you knew. Maybe she was. Maybe. And then they all stand up. They look like an army, all dressed in their uniform suits. One of them peers down and looks at its friend, all dismembered and burned on the oven's floor. It looks like charcoal than body. They form a single firm line. They form a single file line in the middle of the tray, a gingerbread snake, if you will. And one by one, each of them takes turns taking suicidal leaps off the edge. And one by one, you catch their faces as they take their fateful falls. "Stop crying, kid," they all said. "Mother will be okay." Clunk, clunk, clunk. The gingerbread charcoal pile grows and grows until it is a small mountain. In it, you see a face. Mother. And she smiles, the gingerbread smile, looking at you. I can't tell if it's a smile of relief or a smile of scorn, but it doesn't matter. Your mother's smile is the thing you have always wanted the most, and if this is the way you got it, then so be it. But that smile rang hollow, now devoid of any meaning, any life, an eternal reminder that mother is gone, and who's to blame for that? And yet you bake those cookies every year, forgetting that you tried the year before because the waves of memory forces their dark underbellies to recede. And every year you hope that they taste like how mother used to make. I'm confused. I think the first comment is too. This comment says, "I gotta say, I don't really understand what's going on. Are we hallucinating?" That's what I was questioning. Are these actual people being tortured? It's confusing, and I like that. It's creepy. Leaves a lot of room for interpretation. Yeah, I was confused. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed those storytelling. I want to find more scary stories to tell. Hopefully you guys enjoy those kind of videos because I really enjoy scary stories. So I will see you in my next video. Alright, bye.